Welcome, competitors. Get ready, because today we're diving into a full explainer designed to turn you from a total beginner into an absolute master of the TomasONE robot for the RoboRave Middlebot Challenge. If you're just starting out and need a complete breakdown of the control methods, the button functions, and exactly how to analyze those robotic arm movements, well, you're in the exact right place. We're going to decode the whole shebang so you can totally dominate the arena.
So, here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll meet your robot. Second, we'll go over pairing the MJ2 controller. Third, we're decoding the Matrix R4 brain. Fourth, driving the chassis. And finally, operating the robotic arm. Let's get to it.
All right, Section 1, meet your robot. Take a really close look at the TomasONE chassis here, specifically those striking yellow and black wheels. Now, you might be wondering, what's up with those? Well, they aren't your standard tires. They're specialized mechanism wheels. Because of their incredibly unique angled rollers, this chassis is going to allow you to glide, strafe completely sideways, and spin in literally any direction imaginable. But, all that incredible mobility means absolutely nothing until we get you fully set up.
Moving on to Section 2. Pairing the MJ2 controller.
You'll notice the classic, super comfortable gamepad layout of the MJ2 controller connects completely seamlessly with the robot's receiver block. While they do come factory paired, let's be real. In a crazy busy competition environment, knowing exactly how to repair your specific controller to your specific robot is absolutely a survival skill. So, mimicking your actual physical setup, you've got to follow these steps exactly to ensure your controller and receiver are communicating perfectly before a single motor even turns. First off, power on the controller by holding Start for about 2 seconds until that red light pops up. Second, and hey, this is absolutely crucial, connect your receiver to the R4 board before you actually power the board on. Third, hold down the bind button on the receiver for over 2 seconds. And finally, hold down the L3 stick on your controller for 3 seconds. Now, actually finding these somewhat hidden inputs is key. There's this tiny bind button located right next to the LED on the receiver. As for the L3 button, well, it isn't a separate face button at all. It's actually activated by firmly pressing straight down on the left mushroom stick itself. It's kind of like a hidden click. Just watch for the pairing to complete, and boom, you are officially online.
All right, Section 3. The Matrix R4 brain.
So, the Matrix Mini R4 basically acts as your robot's central nervous system. Every single wire from your motors, your remote receiver, and your robotic arm connects right here. I know, it looks super complex at first glance, like a giant puzzle, but it's actually highly organized into very specific digital, analog, servo, and motor ports.
Understanding exactly how this brain distributes your commands is a real game changer. Your remote control receiver uses ports D2 and D3 to pull in those inputs. The middle servo, which handles rotating the base of your arm, well, that uses port RC1. The really crucial left and right arm movements are powered by servos plugged into RC4 and RC3. And that all-important vacuum pump you need for grabbing objects, that bad boy is wired directly into motor port 3. Trust me, knowing this layout is going to make troubleshooting in the pits an absolute breeze.
Moving right along to Section 4, driving the chassis. Okay, for any beginner out there learning these RoboRave controls, mapping the joysticks directly to the omnidirectional movement of the TomasONE is step number 1. Because we're using those awesome mechanism wheels we talked about, your movement isn't just stuck going forwards and backwards, it's completely two-dimensional.
Let's break down this control logic because it's actually super cool. If you push the left stick on the y-axis, up or down, your chassis is going to surge forward or backward. Standard stuff, right? But here is where the magic happens. Pushing that exact same left stick side to side on the x-axis makes the robot elegantly strafe directly to the left or right without even changing where the front of the robot is pointing. Finally, your right stick handles your precise in-place rotations. Push it left or right and the robot spins on an absolute dime. It's incredibly intuitive once you just get the hang of it.
So, you can now maneuver perfectly, gracefully, dancing around the arena. But as we all know, just driving around looking cool isn't going to win you the RoboRave Middlebot Challenge. To actually score points, you need to interact with the environment. You've got to transition your focus from the wheels straight to the payload arm.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 5, operating the robotic arm.
Now, the absolute most crucial part here is learning the specific button combinations that manipulate the 3 individual servos and the suction cup on that robotic arm. Remember, the left and right sticks are for driving. Basically, the entire rest of the controller is dedicated strictly to this arm.
Let's really analyze these arm movements. Notice how the D-pad controls the base rotation. Pressing left or right swings the entire arm assembly. Now check out the shoulder buttons. The R1 and R2 buttons incrementally raise and lower the left arm joint, while L1 and L2 handle raising and lowering the right arm joint. And what makes this system so amazing is that each individual press adjusts the servo by exactly 3 degrees. That gives you incredible, granular precision when you're hovering over a target.
Once you've navigated that arm into the absolute perfect position over an object, well, it's time to grab it. Hit the square button to activate the Motor 3 suction pump and engage the RC2 valve to 0 degrees. This is what creates that tight vacuum seal. To drop the payload, simply hit the circle button. The motor stops, the valve opens up to 180 degrees, and it instantly releases the item. Oh, and here is a total lifesaver feature for you. Hit the triangle button at literally any time, and it acts as a quick reset. It'll snap all 3 of your arm servos safely back to their 90-degree center position in a flash.
I actually want to pause here for a second and highlight this specific quote directly from the manual. Always remember this pro tip. Because the angle adjustment step is exactly plus or minus 3 degrees, you want to tap those directional and shoulder buttons repeatedly for smooth, precise control. Seriously, do not just hold the buttons down in a panic. Just tap, tap, tap to find that perfect angle.
Wow. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground today. You've mapped the brain, you've learned to glide with that awesome Mecanum chassis, and you've completely decoded the precise button presses required to articulate that robotic arm. With the TomasONE's complex controls now mapped perfectly in your mind, the real challenge begins. So how are you going to optimize these movements to shave precious seconds off your time in the RoboRave Middlebot Challenge? Well, the arena is waiting for you to find out.